trading full time is, I don't think, viable for the majority of people. Trading is one of the biggest battles of you versus you. I don't care. Like, this guy might be the best trader in the world, but he drives a Bugatti. He's got like multiple Ferraris. He has 6 or 7 Richard Milles. He lives in Miami. He is not paying for that lifestyle from trading. It's impossible. I'm going to buy later than you, but I'm going to sell earlier than you. I don't think you got it. Like, prove it. You got my money? Here, give it to me. I want to take it out.
What is it? FDIC only 250K. A lot of people have a lot more fucking money than 250K in a bank.
Dude, I just lost like, a huge part of my net worth.
Hey guys, before we get started, I have one simple favor. Now, I started this channel in 2009 and it's been an amazing journey talking about my story, but it's time to shift gears and start bringing the biggest collective of minds that I can find in the finance, health, and mindset space so that I can bring more value to you guys. So the Wolf Principles podcast is just getting started. All I ask is that you hit the like button and hit subscribe because we have some amazing guests in the lineup, and the bigger we get, the better the guests are gonna get and the more value you're gonna get out of this podcast. Anyways, like, subscribe, and let's continue. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wolf Principles podcast. Today, we have a special guest, the first guest on the Wolf Principles podcast. He has got 3 different names: Dylan, Trader Main, the Neck.
Yes.
What do we refer you as?
Whatever one comes easiest to you. Usually, I always tell people that, like, where's Trader Main come from? I was like, well, the rapper Gucci Mane.
Oh, okay.
That's who I was into when I made the account when I was 23. And I didn't, expect to gain any sort of social media fame, or I probably would have used, my name or something a little bit more professional, but here we are.
Yeah. And did you give yourself the name The Neck, or is that a social media inspiration?
No, so I mean, you've been on camera for a long time with crypto. Most people are anonymous, right?
Yeah.
So
I had no idea what you looked like because you always had your NFT.
There's some cartoon character or NFT exactly, or like an egg or whatever it was back in the old days. But I started doing live streaming a few years ago. And someone's like, why don't you show your face? And I'm like, I don't know, like, sure.
Yeah.
And so I ended up starting to show my face on streams, and people just started to make fun of, I guess my neck is thicker than normal.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad. Now I'm quite self-conscious about it. Like, I always look at myself in pictures. I'm like, is my neck really that big? But it's the internet. You got to lean into it.
At least, you embrace it.
Yeah, you got to lean into it.
Rather than let people bring you down, you just...
Yeah, it's a negative. So, yeah, any of the 3 work for me.
Yeah. I'll go with Dylan. Keep it simple. So anyways, man, welcome to Bali, first of all.
Oh, my God.
It's where we're based right now. So what's your first impression?
I love it. It's hot, muggy, but beautiful island. Beautiful people, like amazingly friendly, welcoming locals, amazing scenery. I like it here. I definitely will be back. I can see why you're based out of here. Yeah,
it's been 4 years permanently. Basically, I was in Shanghai right when COVID was starting, and then I went to Bangkok for a month and met my girlfriend in December. And then I was supposed to move back to LA. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just go to Bali and kind of like look online for places to live in LA instead of just going back there, because I didn't have a place to stay in LA anyways. So that was January 2020. Then COVID hit, and then it just kind of became a full-time permanent thing over here. But overall, I mean, it's a great place to live. I love it out here. It does get small because you're on this tiny little island. So we leave like every 3 months and go do something.
Yeah, I mean, I get it though, especially for the type of work that we do, kind of the digital nomad, lifestyle. I mean, I get it. You're so close to so many places as well in Asia for traveling, and it's sunny and warm every day. Like, the older
that's
I get,
huge. I mean, we're both from the Northwest, man. You know just as well as I do how depressing seasonal affective disorder can be.
It's insane. The older I get, the more I'm just like, man, like being around, like, just people are happier. I'm happier.
100%.
Like, you know what I mean? I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I want to go outside. I want to like go on a walk, and I want to go down to the beach or go for a swim. So we'll see. My fiance is like, oh, we're moving to Bali now. I was like, okay, well, let me talk to your father first, but now it's on the list.
Yeah. So anyways, for people who don't know who you are, in a nutshell, who is Dylan, Trader Main?
Dylan, 33-year-old dude who pretends to be a cartoon panda, I guess, on Twitter. No, I'm a crypto guy. So I'm one of the crypto Twitter kind of OGs, I guess you could say. I've been on there since 2014.
Okay.
And I've amassed almost 500,000 followers on Twitter, which is crazy to think about. I was just telling you the other day, I literally ran into a follower like at the top of some monkey temple yesterday while I was dying from heat stroke. So it's cool to see and meet people all over. But yeah, I'm a trader, really. I'm a crypto trader. That's how I kind of made my name. I was one of the first people, or one of the more public people, who is shorting Bitcoin. Not that you want to short Bitcoin, but during the bear market in 2016, 2017, or the bull market, excuse me, when it became a bear market, crypto is one of those things that only goes up. Right. Yeah. For most people get rich buying a coin and it goes up some crazy multiple. They probably don't end up selling anyways, but it's not like kind of your traditional stocks and FX where it's like you trade both directions. If the chart's bullish, I'm longing. If it's bearish, I'm shorting. Crypto people, it's up only. That's all they really know. Bro. So in 2018, when the market, or 2017 December, the market topped, having traded Forex and stocks in the past, is like, this looks like a top. Like, I'm gonna short. And I got a lot of hate initially until it went from 20K to 3K. All of a sudden, people are like, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And
I was very vocal about crypto crashing. I had no involvement in it whatsoever. But in 2018, 2017, back when I was on Facebook. I don't even think I was super active on Instagram yet. But I was very vocal about the top, because that's also what I was focused on for many years in stocks. I was predominantly short seller.
Well, you were penny stocks too, right? Like, what people don't realize is, like, crypto is this new tech. Sure, crypto is, altcoins are penny stocks. They trade the exact same, right?
It's like the Wild West penny stock game.
I'm like, this is like the OG penny stock days, where you're gonna see some low float coin pump 10,000%, and you think it's the new hot shit.
The difference is with stocks, that's what I was in. Then it was like maybe 50% to 200% if you're lucky. In crypto, it's 10, 100x, which is insane.
It's crazy. But that means that when it comes down hard, and there's a lot of money to be made on the short side as well. And at the end of the day, I think Bitcoin's the best performing asset ever. I think shorting it is not really a good idea for most people. You're probably just better off buying. And I think right now Bitcoin's at, what is it, 65K. So unless you bought at the very top last cycle, you're in profit, right? Anywhere over the last decade.
I actually just opened a short position this morning.
I think we're due for a bit of a correction into like the 50s or something like that, because we've got the halving coming up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a shake. I mean, I have a lot of people being like, we're just getting started. I was like, I don't know, man. Look at the chart. Like, it's kind of just gone up only for the past year straight, from whatever it was, 15K to 75K.
Yeah, the velocity of it straight into resistance at all-time high was just insane. So there has to be some sort of reset, I think, if we do make the run to 100K.
Yeah, I think we will. But yeah, that's how I got popular, honestly. And I was just posting and doing videos. I used to do these live streams for 5 people. Now it's 1,000. So it's just been a crazy journey, and it's become a full-time thing. I never thought, it's kind of a side gig. I was working regular jobs. I ran some businesses, and then it just got to a point where it's like, oh, I'm like a influencer now, as much as I hate to say it.
So take us back to the beginning, I guess. Like, what were you doing prior to even thinking about trading, and what was kind of that turning point where you're like, this is where maybe that's something I could do?
Yeah, so I got an accounting degree. I grew up in a household where like going to university was what you did. It wasn't like, maybe I'll go to school, maybe I'll go traveling. It's like, no, you're going to university. So I went and got an accounting degree because that's what I liked. I was good with numbers, I was good at math, and I was like, this is what my parents want me to do, kind of thing, right? Is that kind of household. And I learned very quickly when I got into the workforce, like, okay, first of all, accounting is awful. I didn't want to do this. And so I started bouncing around between jobs, and what I started kind of working towards was jobs where I was in control of how much money I made. So I eventually went from accounting to finance, and then finance into more of a sales focused finance, then full on sales. Because I was like, okay, at least now if I more input means more output, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the other jobs, like, it doesn't matter if I'm staying late.
Yeah. If there's no kind of like exponential growth for input versus output, and it's just time for money, you're at a dead end for the rest of your life.
It's just like I mean, my first accounting job was $33,000 was my yearly salary.
Yeah.
Coming out of university with a degree, and that's Canadian dollars. That's like 20 something K US. Like, it was crazy to me.
That's not a whole lot to live on.
And I was like,
so
what? I'm gonna have to live to I'm gonna have to work here till I'm like 60 to make six figures. So I got into sales, and then kind of the next thing was like, I didn't want to have a boss.
Yeah.
I kind of had this complex where I thought I was smarter than all of my superiors at work, and maybe I was. Maybe it was, you know, cockiness, but I hated taking direction from people where I was like, I don't think you're even very good at your job.
I always had the same issue, because it's always, for me, it was always like, you should never take advice from someone who's not in a position that you don't want to be in.
Exactly.
So if I see my school principal or my teacher or whatever, I always had issues with the authority, because I'm like, first of all, I don't want to be who you are. So it's not that I don't respect them. I just can't necessarily take their advice seriously.
Yeah.
Or when I'm getting disciplined for something.
100%. It's like, unless you have more money than me, more status than me, you're doing something that I think is like, oh, wow, this is amazing. It's kind of like, well, I mean, obviously that's a little bit of a cocky way to view things. Yeah. People have, you know, wisdom that they can impart. But from a career perspective, I was like, that's why I always struggled with. So I started working in recruitment with a few buddies of mine from university, and it was quite lucrative. And we ended up starting our own company and doing very well.
Brief interruption from today's sponsor, Skillful AI, who is about to launch their new crypto token. So let's discuss why that might interest you. Well, we all know that AI is the next big thing, but what's really going to be useful to humans is AI assistance, and that's where Skillful AI comes in. Let's take a look at what they're building. So here's a brief little preview of the upcoming dashboard for Skillful AI. One of the cool things that you can do is compare and contrast multiple AI models at the same time. For instance, you could look at the Meta AI, the Open AI, and Google AI all at the same time, asking them the same question and seeing what model you would like to use best. But what is really cool that they're building is the AI Builder. Now, what this does is actually allows you to choose multiple AI models and create different skill sets for things that you might want to actually create. And then once you actually build this unique model by combining all these different features in APIs, you can then mint that AI assistant and actually rent it or sell it in the marketplace at Skillful AI. Just for an example, I built one using the Skillful AI, OpenAI, Meta's Llama, and then I chose communication, critical thinking, computer vision, decision-making, and problem solving, and the integrations I used were Binance, Etherscan, and TradingView. This will allow you to create a really cool trading AI that can help you make better trading decisions. Now, if we look at the chats that we have here in the actual model, there's multiple ones. You have Neil deGrasse Tyson, you have a trader AI, and you also have a designer AI. Pretty much the sky is the limit for how many AI models that you either want to create yourself or rent or buy from someone else who already created it. Such as if you were interested in buying a new coin and you wanted to get a little bit more research about it with an AI model specifically geared towards trading that you either created or by someone else. If you go to the actual marketplace, you can see in here all the top ranked AI models that people are using based on trending or most used. Also, you can list the AI models that you minted on the blockchain and actually rent them out and sell them here in the Skillful AI marketplace. Skillful AI already raised over $10 million in their seed round, but they're opening up a community round that you can actually participate in. There's also rumors of an upcoming airdrop. If you want to actually participate in the community round, it's about to go down. All you got to do is go to skillfulai.io, click the public sale whitelist, and in here you can participate in these different quests to earn XP and actually get access to that early whitelist. Anyways, guys, Skillful AI, that's today's sponsor. If you're interested in participating or checking out their website, there's going to be a link below.
This was 2017. Now in 2013, when I was still working in accounting, I had a friend of mine who actually lives here, Kyle. I'll make sure to send you this. So he works on yachts now. He's like one of those, you know, Below the Deck, the show. He's one of the guys who works on those boats. Like they go out to Mallorca, and he's a yacht captain. It's pretty cool. But in his off season, he lives here. Funnily enough, he's back in our hometown right now. We just missed each other. But he always would bring me to these multi-level marketing meetings, like back when we were 20, because it was like, okay, there's lunch, there's beer,
Yeah.
and you just got to sit and watch this presentation.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm 22. I
And
got
it
no
always
money.
looks like some sort of get rich quick with not a lot of work thing. And you're like,
he
that
bought into
sounds
it a little more than
interesting.
me.
Yeah.
But I was there for the free food and the beer.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
you know, sure enough, they're like, all right, here's the thing. And oh, it's not a pyramid, it's an upside down triangle. It's different. But yeah, go to your parents, then go to your cousins, and then
Yeah. Family
But-
first.
he, funnily enough, in 2012, 2013, he's like, dude, this Bitcoin thing, it's the future of money. So
Yeah.
naturally, I'm a skeptic. I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. Just like that last Cutco knife sales thing was going to make us millionaires.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bitcoin is the future of money. But he bought a bunch, and I kind of, you know, brushed it off. And then in that 2013 kind of bull market, Bitcoin went from dollars to like, I think it peaked at $1,190.
Yeah.
And I bought a few because you could go on Silk Road and you could buy fireworks and you could buy all sorts of stuff with it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, like there's this stuff you told me to buy, like now it's worth $1,000 for one. Like when you told me about it, it was like $10.
Yeah.
So I bought a bunch of them, and I kind of experienced the very tail end of that first bull run. I bought, I think, around $500 Bitcoin, and it doubled.
Yeah.
So I'd put in, but at the time when you're in your early 20s, you put in 20, 30 grand in something, and all of a sudden you have six figures.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm rich now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I've got fuck you money basically.
Yeah.
So
Especially when you're that young and you see that kind of money.
when I'm
that's a
drinking
game
beer,
changer.
that I'm buying a 6-pack of beer, like I had unlimited money in my mind. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually briefly quit my job. And before I went to my next job, I thought I was a trader. Like
Yeah.
I kind of convinced myself. I started up my Twitter. And then that cycle, I caught the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. I bought all these altcoins, and then I was right for 2 months.
And this was
then
in
2013, 2014.
Okay.
So I caught the very tail end of that cycle, and then everything dropped 90%. And
Yeah.
I didn't know I could short. I didn't even know I could sell back to cash.
Yeah.
I just was buying stuff because it was going up.
Yeah.
So I was a bull in a bull market. I wasn't a trader.
Yeah.
And I moved back into my dad's house. I'm like, screw the markets, blah, blah, blah. And then I got back into working. And then while I was working and I got into recruitment, I kind of was like, okay, I still had this itch about like how there's got to be a rhyme to the reason in terms of how these markets move.
Yeah.
So I got into stocks and Forex and stuff. And I kind of, found your channel, funnily enough, and Tim Sykes and all these other ICT, all these other guys. And I started teaching myself how to do TA, technical analysis. And so when I was running my recruitment company and that 2016, 2017 bull run happened, I looked at the charts and I'm like, this is just the same as a stock chart.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that helped me do really well is everyone was buying this stuff because they're just buying it because it's going up. I was like, oh, but you can actually use the chart to figure out when it's
Anticipate.
going to go up
Yeah.
and maybe how high and how to actually profit from it and keep the profit. And I was one of the very first people on crypto Twitter who would post technical analysis.
Yeah.
Most people, it was just like me in the previous cycle. It's like,
Just belief.
Yeah, it's
no
hopium, right?
insight, just wag me full hopium,
and that works when you're right.
Yeah.
When you're right, the ultra bulls they look like the smartest people in the room.
Yeah.
When they're right. And I always tell people this, like, I'm going to buy later than you, but I'm going to sell earlier than you.
And actually walk away with
and
money.
I'm going to keep more money than you. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy the bottom. I'm not going to sell the top. I'm going to catch the meat of the move, and I'm not going to be bag holding on the way back down.
Yeah.
I kind of did well in that 2016, 2017 bull run, and I'd been posting on Twitter, but I'd ran a recruitment company very successfthink but I got to a point in the last cycle with COVID and everything when we went to 3K, I shoved because I was like, this seems, I think the S&P went down 25% in 3 days. I was like, this seems like one of those once in a decade all-in spots.
Yeah.
So I just shoved. I bought a bunch of Bitcoin at like $3,000 to $5,000, a bunch of Ethereum at like $80 to $100 odd.
I tried to get in on the Bitcoin dip. Like I had no involvement in crypto whatsoever. And I posted, which is kind of fucked up. I said, as soon as we start seeing something about suicide in the news, I think that's when it's time to be buying Bitcoin. And there was actually a PR that came out and Bitcoin dropped to about 3K. I think this was like 2017 or something. 2018. And at that time, I was in South Africa, Cape Town, and I had no involvement in crypto whatsoever. And I was like, okay, shit, I need to open an account. And so I tried to just transfer like 10K into, I can't even remember what account, maybe Coinbase at the time. But it took 2-3 weeks for me to get my account verified. Yeah. And by the time it was at 3K when I started to open my account, and then it doubled within like the next week or two, and I never bought in. Yeah. And so I missed it. And then I didn't trade anything for years on crypto.
Yeah, no, and I mean it moves very fast, this market. Yeah. Like there's literally the last top, like you kind of had a few days, right? And if you didn't get out in that kind of few days span, it's down 30% from the high. Yeah. Now you're wondering, do I sell now? Is it going to bounce back?
You have about 24 to 48 hour windows of opportunity, and then the rest is kind of a gray area of the pivot points.
But that's why I tell people, I'm like, I don't mind buying a little late off the bottom. And like last cycle, I didn't sell any Bitcoin at 60. I was selling at 35, 40, 45, 50. And people are like, why are you selling? It's going to 100. I was like, maybe it will, but I bought it at 3. Yeah. And I'm up 10x. Like that's enough. And, the problem with crypto is it's the greed, all the emotions that you try and teach people about in like trading. Like it's hype. Everything in crypto is hyper. It's extreme levels of it's compared to stocks. It's like everything on hyperdrive. The market cycles happen faster. The emotions are higher. Yeah. And I don't know why that is. I mean, we've seen 4 or 5 complete bull bear cycles in the time that we've seen one in gold. Yeah.
Well, I think there's just a lot more irrational behavior involved. Yeah. And they think because stocks have been around since what, the 1920s or whatever it was, or early 1900s. And when you get crypto, it's a new technology. It's 10, 13 years old, all this new stuff. So I think everyone's in it as a get rich quick. Yeah. They want to get rich. Stocks, they're like, oh, well, I could probably buy some stuff and slowly maybe get rich over time. But there's such a draw to getting rich quick in crypto because there are stories of people getting rich quick because of how fast things go up, which also makes it, I guess, easier to make money, but also easier to lose money because of the volatility is so high.
I mean, I've got a lot of friends who got very rich very quickly and gave all of it, like ungodly. We're talking mid 8 figures of money. And like we're, in our friend group message him like, hey dude, like you live in Thailand, take 10 mil of the 50 that you just made and just put it away. Yeah. You are set for life. But they're on tilt, right? Oh, they had 60 million. Now it's 50. Now they're chasing. Now they have, none.
You usually reach kind of like a breaking point where if you don't have a stop loss in and you say you went from 10 million to 7 million, you're like, okay, that was kind of like my mental spot. But then if it gets below that, you're like, well, now I can't sell below this because what if it goes back up? Yeah. So if you don't take a stop or actually stick to something, you get beyond that turning point of, okay, now I'm fucked. I'm just going to wait it out.
It's a disgustingly sick game. And I've taken losses in my learning process, right? I look at them now and I'm like, dude, if I would have just stuck to my plan, if I would have just done this, and you obviously try not to think like that. But with crypto, one of the most painful parts of it is the price of the underlying asset generally is just going up. Yeah. So like all those Bitcoin I lost back in 2016, those are worth 20 times now what they were. And I'm like, I mean, I know for a fact if I would have kept all the Bitcoin I had back in 2014 through 2016, just held the Bitcoin, didn't do any sort of trading, I'd have way more money than I have now. I've still done well, but there is an argument to be made being like, okay, probably buying and holding is not the worst idea if you don't know what you're doing for sure. But the asset, it goes up. It's kind of like, I tell people, it's kind of like the S&P, like, especially now that the ETF is here, I think we're going to see Bitcoin trade kind of just up and to the right slowly over time. I do think volatility is going to decrease a little bit now that institutional players are coming in, but I mean, who knows?
I think the issue with the HODL strategy is it can be a very viable strategy. Is the problem nobody buys when things are down.
Yes.
Everyone who is a little bit more or less experienced buys at all-time highs when it's in the news finally like, oh shit, we're at all-time highs. Or they're buying at the peaks because that's when it's the biggest in the news. And so there's such a vast FOMO. Yeah. And that's when people buy in and then they lose everything because Bitcoin does drop 70 to 90% in these cycles.
No, I sent an email out in December of 2018. So when Bitcoin basically bottomed, I sent it to about 40 people. It was my family and then like some close friends. And I basically said, here's what it is. Here's why I'm buying here. Cause you know, I'm like, we're down 85% off the high.
Yeah.
Generally Bitcoin bottoms around 80 to 90% off the high. All these other factors. It was like a, 5,000 word essay to the point where I was like, here's how you buy a ledger. Here's how you pay taxes on like everything.
Yeah.
The responses I got were basically like, unsubscribe, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. The only two people who bought were my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
And they just said, just buy us each one. I was like, okay. Sure enough, Bitcoin went to, I would update it. So it hit 10K. I said, hey, by the way, we're 3X from, where I said. Then it hit 30K. Okay, we're 10X. And then I think my last email was at like 50. And then that's when people started reaching back out saying, hey, man, like.
Is it still a good time to buy?
This Bitcoin thing, I was like, yeah, I'll sell you mine.
Yeah.
But no, you're 100% right. But my advice I give to the majority of people is I was like, if you don't want to be in this space and trying to actively manage and trade, time in the market is way better than timing the market.
Yeah.
Just slowly build exposure. Like most of my friends, if they would just say, hey, I've got an extra $500 every month, just buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum.
It's basically
or whatever
just the Buffett strategy.
Yeah.
Just buy stocks.
You're betting on
buy
crypto.
the S&P. Yeah.
Buffett bet on America, right?
Yeah.
You're betting on crypto that's going to be here in 5-10 years. Then probably the stuff you buy now is probably going to be worth more money in 5-10 years.
Yeah, that's interesting. Just the whole crypto thing. I didn't get in until 2019, 2020. After
then you got the bug.
Yeah. Well, it's because I quit trading in 2018. I got on YouTube, announced that I'm done, and I tried to shift gears and go kind of into the more content creation, entrepreneurial side space of. I had been also selling courses for 15, 16 years at this point and running an e-com business. So I tried to shift, but it just wasn't exciting. It wasn't the same as trading. And also the reason why I quit was because I moved to Asia and the U.S. stock market opens here at 9:30, 10:30 p.m., depending on daylight savings. And then I got a message from a buddy who just said, hey, bro, buy XRP. And I was like, what the fuck is XRP?
Oh, God.
This is like 2019. And then so I just started looking at crypto and realizing that a lot of these, it was basically like penny stocks, like what I used to trade, small cap stocks. A lot of the same patterns, a lot of the same movements were forming up, and it opened 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be constrained to New York time, which was fucking miserable. Especially, it was fun in the beginning, like the whole traveling trading thing. It's fine for a week or two, but when you do it full time, like I was, because I was traveling new country every month, it was fucking miserable. And so now that I had this other asset that acted the same, and I didn't have to be at a certain imprisoned basically to New York time, that was just kind of the game changer of, okay, maybe this is the next thing.
Yeah, no, the altcoins especially trade, in my opinion, exactly like penny stocks. Because it's not sophisticated players either. That's
the thing. You're not competing against institutions. You're competing against fucking
PvP.
The meme bros, like fucking crypto bros.
So it's like, oh, if this thing is on an uptrending line and then there's a vertical resistance line, when it breaks through that line, it's probably going to go up because people are going to see it and they got the monkey brain. They're like, oh, green button, green candle, green button. So, and I agree. I mean, I live on the West Coast. I hate New York trading hours. Getting up at 6 a.m. is terrible. Whereas crypto, it can move on a Saturday afternoon. It can move on, Wednesday at midnight. But it's kind of nonstop. I also find that crypto is a little bit easier to swing trade. Whereas like when I was trading FX, for example, I was similar to you. I was either trading the London session or the New York session. And I had like a window where it's like, if my trade doesn't set up here, I'm not making any money today.
I did that for so many years. Right? I don't want to have to be somewhere at a certain time.
It defeats the whole purpose.
It's you're like imprisoned to this time zone, no matter where you are in the world. It was awful.
It's funny because people always ask, they're like, oh, like, when you're selling the trading lifestyle, it's like, listen, I'm on my boat or I'm at the beach and I've got my laptop here and look, I just made $3,000. It's like, that's not what it is. Like I'm in my office. Like it's either really early in the morning and I'm miserable, or it's really late at night and I don't want to fucking be here. You know what I mean? And it's dark and I've got the blinds closed and I'm like, sitting in front of 3 monitors. It's not like quite glamorous. And like, but you don't have a boss. I'm like, yeah, your boss though is the market. Like it's the market hours. It's the time of year. Is it evolved? Like it's worse in some ways than, a regular boss. So crypto kind of gives you a little bit more freedom, but I'm the same as you. I've recently pivoted into other ways to kind of just monetize, with the prop firm, with, paid community, because trading full time is, I don't think, viable for the majority of people.
Yeah.
And I also think it is not conducive to doing well if it is your only way that you can make money, because then you're trading because you need the money. You're going to force trades. You're going to take trades that aren't there because you're like, hey, I need to make some money this week. Whereas if you have other streams of income, then you're just taking kind of those really high quality setups as opposed to, trading because you have to.
Brief interruption here, guys. Did you know that 75% of traders have accounts under $25,000? This creates a huge problem because even if you double that account in a year, which is almost impossible, you're still only making $25,000. Introducing Hydra Funding, where you can potentially get access up to $500,000 in capital. All you have to do, guys, is sign up for a challenge account, which is going to give you potentially access up to $500,000. And if you earn a 10% profit in this demo account without going into a 5% loss overall or a 4% loss in a day, you will then pass their evaluation phase and, yes, get access to an account with the selected size account. And now, instead of trying to double a $10,000 account, you could potentially earn only 10% on a $100,000 account to earn the same level of profits. And the benefits of this are huge. Rather than risking your entire $10,000 on one account, you can use just $1,000 to potentially get access to $100,000 in capital. You can trade crypto, forex, stocks, CFTs, gold, oil, everything under the sun, all on MT4 and MT5. If you're interested, if you have an account under $25,000, like 75% of traders out there, you're not going to make any money with that account because it's too small. Get access to pro level funding and pro level capital with Hydra Funding. Link's going to be below. Yeah, I mean, there's the saying, never use money you can't afford to lose, which literally translates to don't trade for a living. Yeah. Because if your life and your bills and everything depends on that, you're going to be an emotional nutcase, and you're not going to be able to have the focus and the discipline to actually perform in trading. So you always have to have some sort of stable income. You have to have stable income, stable emotions, basic needs met, and then that'll allow you to perform in trading, because you have to be mentally stable to perform in trading. If you don't have those other things lined up, you're not going to be able to be a good trader. Maybe some people are, a small fraction. There's already a 98% failure rate. Of those 2% who are making money, a lot of them probably do also have some sort of base salary or income.
Or huge nest egg or something. Yeah. Like I always tell people, like, how much money? I'm like, listen, if you don't have at least a year of all of your expenses covered, like not your trading account is paying for your bills. Like I'm talking, you've got 50, whatever the number is, 100 grand in the bank where it's like, okay, I know I could make $0 this year. Yeah. My rent is paid, my car is paid, I can buy groceries, I can do all the stuff I need to do. If you don't have that, exactly, you are not going to be, whether you want to admit it or not, subconsciously, you're going to have I need money kind of view on the market, and you're probably going to force things that aren't necessarily there. Trading is one of the biggest battles of you versus you. I mean, it's you versus your P&L. There's, it's the market is there, but you're really battling yourself. Yeah. You're battling your emotions, you're battling fear, you're battling greed, and those things are very hard to manage on their own. And if you add that added stress of like, oh, I also, got to pay rent this month. I went into that when I was in my early 20s and I quit my job very briefly. Like I'd built up this small amount of money and I'd moved out of my dad's house, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like do this. And I was like, oh wait, like I need rent and I haven't taken any trades this week. So like I'm now taking a bigger trade than I might have normally taken just because I'm like, I need the money faster and stuff. So no, I completely agree. I think the whole lifestyle of like, oh, I just trade full time. I wake up every day and I trade. That's why you see most people on social media. It's like, there's a reason they're on here.
They're creating the content for exposure for whatever product they're selling, which I don't have a problem with it. I did it for 20 years. I'm still doing it. But it's people need to have that reality check of a lot of their bills are being paid with the business that they run, because they created a business around trading, which anybody can do. But you also have to be able to perform in trading to show that and actually have a reputation that you can stand behind.
You got to have the social proof, right? But a lot of the guys, like so there's some of these newer Instagram guys, right? Like, and I've talked to a few of them, and I'm like, I'll talk to my audience about them. They'll say, what do you think about this guy? I say, listen, I don't care. Like, this guy might be the best trader in the world, but he drives a Bugatti. This guy's 24. He's got a Bugatti. He's got like multiple Ferraris. He has 6 or 7 Richard Milles. He lives in Miami. I'm like, he's 24.
Yeah,
I was like,
sure
unless this guy has a
about.
$100 million trading account, he is not paying for that lifestyle from trading.
Yeah,
it's impossible because he'll show.
It's
like
mostly people in the Forex industry.
Yes, of course. Well, you made 15K today. I was like, that's still not enough for a Bugatti.
Yeah,
like I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's like $100 millionaire person car.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I think he's got some family money, but he sells a car. And again, I have no problem with it. I don't know if he can actually trade or not. There's a lot of. It's very easy to falsify stuff, especially in the FX world with
all the broker statements in the back end.
You can make everything. You can
because
buy
a lot
your
of
own
times
broker.
they own it.
Yeah,
and so it can all be manipulated. I'm not saying that they are, but it can be. It's just like I think CoffeeZilla came out with an episode revealing what was the name? I can't remember who.
Nor Trades.
Well, him, but there's Nor Trades, but there is also another a guy who was running a big PAM account. And he had just like a bunch of people, but he was manipulating all the trades behind the scene. And he's basically running a Ponzi scheme, just bringing people's money in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to link to it below or something. But yeah, it's the back end of like the CFD non-regulated broker can be manipulated if you want it to.
Yeah. I mean, everything you got to take with a grain of salt. I always tell people, I mean, the best way you can tell if someone's legit or not is like watch their stuff and does what they say actually happen. Yeah. Right. Because me showing you like, look at how much money I made on a Bitcoin trade. That could be Photoshopped. It could be anything.
It could be one good trade out of 15 bad ones.
I could just show you the percentage and it was $1 position, right? It's like, look, I'm up 300%. It's like, yeah, but how big was the, like anything? So it's like, okay, I post videos every week where I think, here's what I think is going to happen. I also tell people I'm wrong half the time, at least.
So there's only 2 sides of every trade. There's either A happens or B happens. You have to prepare for both those.
Yeah. And it's either going to go up or down. And I'm going to make an educated guess on one of those 2 outcomes. And if I'm wrong, I'm, prepared to cover my downside or whatever it is. But anyone who I think sells lifestyle first, usually you got to be a little wary of where they're just like, look, Lambo, Rolex, look at this huge stack of money. I'm like, first of all, who goes to the bank and just takes out tens of thousands of dollars and just has it laying around their house? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, use your Visa. Yeah, it's the lifestyle, the FX, FX lifestyle guys. I find it quite funny. And I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, clearly it's working for them. Because all of them have Lambos.
I don't have a Bugatti. I don't know. I don't have a Richard Milles, so maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, right? Yeah, well, it's annoying because I see it, and I'm just like, these little fuckers, man. And I'm like, I don't have it in me. Like, maybe when I was younger, I used to be a lot more flashy in that kind of lifestyle, but it was also in stocks. There wasn't that kind of money on the business side in stocks. In Forex, there's the broker side, the course side,
it's
the
huge.
bot side, the EA side. There's a lot of different ways. And then they just throw all the Lambos in your face and people just eat it up. It's like Miami is just like a cesspool of
it's like we were talking about the get rich, traders. It's the dream, right? It's like, buy my shit, this is going to be you. And it's like, I can almost guarantee you, no, it won't be. Like, even if this guy's the best trader in the world and you're copying his signals, like, how big is your account? Like, is it big enough to, people don't realize, like, if you're earning... let's say you're risking 1 to 5% on a trade. Okay, well, now start doing the math. How big does your account have to be for you to make 5 figures in a month, 6 figures in a month? Pretty big. Yeah. When you factor in your win rate and all these other things. So I think it's feeding into that human emotion, like you said earlier, about like getting rich quick and the FOMO that people feel. And crypto has a ton of that as well. Crypto, what we're seeing right now is this huge push on these kind of meme coins that are being launched where there used to just be Dogecoin. That was the one.
It's crazy.
And then there was Pepe coin. And now there's Shiba Inu. And that was even now there's so many derivatives.
Yeah.
Where these people are spinning these coins up and they're going up so much percent and people are
just
buying
a marketing game.
It's 100% a marketing game.
And some sort of anticipation of whatever this meme coin is, raise the capital.
Well, and
pump it,
most of them
dump
will
it.
never hit escape velocity. Will it'll actually become a sustainable market. Like Dogecoin is a legit coin now. Like whether or not you care, like it's not going
Ironically,
anywhere.
how that
It's
just worked.
It's a multi-$100 billion coin. Like it is what it is. It's
Endorsed by Elon Musk, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of hit that escape velocity where so many of these are legit pump and dumps, where the early insiders who launched it, or I get offered token allocation every day in my DMs. If I had no morals, I could cash out crazy with the audience that I've built. Because people say, I'll give you 1% of the supply.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, well, you take 4 or 5 of those deals. I tweet out, hey, the new coin is Chihuahua coin. Right?
Yeah.
It only has to go up to, a couple $1 million. All of a sudden, I've made 6 figures.
Yeah. There's also the potential of an SEC investigation.
Well, first of all, I'm Canadian, so Gary, you can't come get me. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure they can come to Canada.
A lot of people got popped for that during kind of like the last craze. I think they're like Jake Paul.
Well, because you're in the stock world, Zach Morris, and there's another guy named Hugh, and these guys were like penny stock callers.
Yeah.
And their case,
and it's all paid.
Their case just got dismissed. They've been on house arrest for the last couple of years. But this guy's got 500,000 followers, and basically he's got paid group. They load up on some penny stock. Then he tells the paid group, right? They load up, and then he would tweet it.
Yeah.
And just there was so much momentum behind it. It would go up 50, 60, 70%, which in the stock world is crazy. And then they would cash out. But they managed to get off. I don't know how, because it was like, I'm like, this is a 101. This is a pump and dump. Like they have the information in advance. They're acquiring it. But at the same time, it's like, are they not allowed to tweet out whatever they want about any ticker? I don't know. It's a pretty gray space.
Yeah, it's a interesting game, the whole penny stock pump and dump. It used to be a lot more prevalent back in like 2005 to 2015-ish when I was kind of deep in it. But a bunch of people got popped for doing the paid penny stock promotions, because a lot of times there would also be disclaimers like, I was paid X amount of dollars to do this. So they started putting disclaimers out. But yeah, now the meme coins are basically
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. There's people who are in early, and those are the people who generally are making the money. But that's all that it takes. All you have to hear is one guy put in $1,000 and he made 7 figures, and you're hooked.
That one story of winning the lottery is what sells everyone.
Yeah.
Which is just so
and
stupid.
You can't win if you don't buy.
Yeah.
So gotta buy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, I wanted to try to get into kind of like what your philosophy on trading is, what your trading strategy is, mindset, daily routine for what you do. So let's just start off with maybe what's kind of like your go-to way to make money trading.
Yeah, so I used to be a lot more active. Like I was actively trading during the sessions, London, New York. With crypto, I used to day trade crypto because there was so many different tokens and it was so volatile, especially when the market's bullish. There was always money to be made, it seemed. But that was early on, and what I've feel like I've kind of discovered about myself with trading is I'm much more of a swing trader. Just personality wise, I have a much easier time getting in a position and sitting in it and waiting for it to play out, as opposed to trying to be in and out multiple times and picking up 100 pennies. I'd rather just make $1. You know what I mean? So in terms of how I generally trade crypto, usually if I'm home and I'm kind of in my normal routine, I wait for the weekly close on Sunday at 4 or 5 p.m. my local time. And then I'll start on those high time frame charts. So I'm starting on either the weekly or even the monthly, depending on where we are in the year. And I'm kind of trying to determine my bias for what I think the next monthly candle is going to look like and the next weekly candle is going to look like. And then that's going to drive all my decision making for shorter term trades and also for what I'm looking at. Like if I think, like right now you mentioned you short Bitcoin, I'm kind of bearish on Bitcoin right now as well. Yeah. I don't like using the term bearish because like I still think we go to 100K.
Healthy pullback.
But yeah, let's say we go to, if I think we're going from 65 to 50, I don't necessarily want to be holding that entire drawdown.
Yeah.
So if I think the next weekly candle is down on Bitcoin, I'm now going to say, okay, altcoins generally more reflexive, not just to the upside, but the downside as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to be looking at some of these altcoins like a Solana or something like that is pumped like crazy. Solana went from $10 to $200 in the time that Bitcoin went from, 20 to 60. That might correct even harder. So whereas Bitcoin might pull back 10 to 15%, some altcoins are going to pull back 20, 30, 40%.
Yeah.
So usually I'll use those high time frames to determine my directional bias. Do I think we're going up or down? That's kind of the first thing you have to determine. Like, am I looking for longs? Am I looking for shorts? And then I will try and go and find the coins that I think, are going to offer those, best setups. I'm a technical trader. I don't know what the coins do. I don't care. I don't know what chain is it on? I don't give a shit. People always ask me like, well, this coin's partnering with this. I was like, show me one coin, any of them that does anything, including Bitcoin. Like, what does it actually do?
Yeah.
Do any of these coins that launched and said, hey, we're going to use this and it's going to be used for this and we're partnering with BMW? And I was like, sure you are. Listen, I understand Solana is used for a lot of things. People are using it to trade between different altcoins made on the Solana. Like, it does stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's mostly just, okay, what is the narrative?
Yes.
AI,
exactly.
gaming.
Exactly. So I don't care what the actual tokens do. What's the hot narrative?
Yeah.
Where when things go up, it's going to go up like, it's kind of a hot ball of money in crypto, right? Where it's not everything's really going up. It's like, okay, first it's meme coins, then that becomes AI, then that becomes gaming tokens. Now it's metaverse, and now it's back to the majors. So it's kind of trying to figure out what the hot ball of money, where the volatility is. That's what I really care about. I'm a volatility seeker. So I try and tell people very simply, it's like I'm looking at the chart. The chart drives all my decision making. I'm not, doing any sort of fundamental analysis and be like, oh, Elon Musk is going to tweet about Doge, so I need to long Doge.
Price is the truth, bro.
Yeah. If the chart says it's going to go up, I'm going to try and long it. Start high time frame, determine the direction I think it's going to go. I'll see maybe if I'm bearish, I want to see maybe stuff that is overextended to the upside and really outperform. So recently we've seen Solana and AI and some of these kind of sectors really go crazy. So maybe on the downside, we're going to see some serious snapbacks. And then my trading strategy is based on the daily and the 12-hour chart, and I'm executing on like the H4, the H1.
Yeah.
I look for very basic patterns. I find that the stuff that you could learn on like baby pips, funnily enough, like it works on crypto because it's not a sophisticated market. You're trading often against other people, very much PvP, whereas in the stock market, you're trading against like crazy high frequency algorithms. You're trading against institutions with quant strategies that are way smarter and more sophisticated than you pointing and clicking.
Totally different price action. Yeah, for sure. Same with Forex because it's institutional flow.
Yeah.
So it's not like the patterns that you see. Basic TA doesn't really necessarily work that well.
No. So I find that super basic TA works really well in crypto. Generally, like if there's a level that gets run above and back below, like that was the trap, right? And you can, they're not, the shakeout is not that complex. It's not that tricky. And so, but yeah, and then I'm generally looking for, holding a trade. I don't really like to hold trades for more than, maybe a week or two. It's kind of my time frame. So that's my trading itch. Start the high time frame, figure out my directional bias, and then go look for, setups on kind of the intraday charts. But then I'm also, long-term kind of accumulator. So as soon as the weekly or 3-day chart puts in bullish market structure, I usually just start buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that happened around 20K. So we had that kind of FTX crash where it went from 20, 25 to 15. And then it kind of was basing there. And then once it reclaimed that floor, it made a higher high on the weekly. I'm like, this probably goes up.
Yeah.
And so outside of my trading, I will just buy, use trading profits, and I'll cycle them just into Bitcoin and Ethereum primarily. And I will just hold those until we get some sort of high time frame market structure shift. If you look at all of the previous tops, the top wasn't in until the daily trend changed. And there's a few ways you can do it. I just use the chart, higher highs and higher lows. You can also use EMAs or MAs. Like once it kind of loses that high time frame EMA or MA, good chance that this kind of predominant trend is done, and now you want to be short.
If you look at like just even the 50-day simple moving average, that's been a great determination of when the bull market is over.
Yeah, and you're gonna miss the extremes.
Yeah.
But if you're basically staying true to that, and people will be like, can't be that easy. I'm like, it is. The problem is when it breaks, you're gonna be so euphoric about it continuing to go higher, you're not gonna listen.
Yeah.
And then you look in hindsight.
It's the mindset game.
Yeah, you look in hindsight and you go, if I would have just bought when this flipped, I would have caught near the low. And if I would have sold when it flipped, I would have sold near the high. But again, hindsight's 2020. So yeah, and I'm still a bull on crypto. I still think we've never had an all-time high before the halving. So this is different.
It is different because the last bull run, we pumped to 20K, we bull flagged, and then broke above it. So it gave you time to think and reset. And then as soon as that bull flag broke at 20K, it was just off to the races. And then we saw 3 pullbacks to the 50-day moving average. And then the fourth one was finally when it broke down and then dropped 50%. This time, we pumped from 30K, 130% straight into all-time high, ripped above it, and then bull trapped everyone over the top.
Yeah.
And U.S. stocks are looking crazy high. NVIDIA is crazy fucking high, which is holding the whole AI narrative up. Now, my concern is if NVIDIA crashes and we actually have some sort of debt crisis come into fruition, what's crypto going to look like? Because I don't think we've ever had a crypto bull without a stock bull.
We haven't. I mean, crypto basically was born at the last start of the stock bull market, right? 2008, 2009. That's when crypto started.
Yeah.
And because I learned how to trade in the traditional markets, in FX and in, stocks and things like that, I've always told people, I was like, here's 2 things that most crypto people don't want to admit. Crypto is a risk on asset.
Yeah.
And it just is it's basically a higher beta S&P 500 or a higher beta NQ. It is. And people don't want to admit it, but I was like, what is the S&P 500 done since Bitcoin was at 35K or 30K? It's gone up 50%.
Yep.
Bitcoin's up 150%. Like
they're very closely correlated.
They're extremely correlated. And then someone will say, well, look, stocks went up this day and Bitcoin didn't. So much for your correlation. I'm like, it's not 1-to-1 every single, but the general trends are when stocks are good, crypto's good. Yeah. Right. That's why when COVID
sometimes
happened,
it decouples, but not very often.
No,
it's all correlated. Even the US dollar, gold, S&P 500, and Bitcoin.
You can't tell me that there is people wanting to put money into your cryptos if we're in a serious recession. Like it's a risk on asset. Whatever you want to believe that it's some safe, there's no way that is true. It's a risky asset.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the dollar, right? The dollar index. People don't realize. I'm like, what are you charting when you're charting Bitcoin? You're charting Bitcoin versus the dollar. Yeah. And you can pretty well map when the dollar topped out, when the dollar bottomed, that was the last all-time high on Bitcoin. And then when the dollar topped out, that's been the start of this rally. And the dollar is starting to look like it might be basing here for a move higher.
It just broke out of a descending trend line just this week.
I'm of the same mindset as you. I tweeted this literally 2 days ago. I said, stocks look due for a pullback. I wonder how crypto reacts. And everyone's comments immediately are up only. What are you talking about? Screw you.
Well, they don't want to believe that their bags are in
cognitive
danger.
Dissonance, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like this goes against my bias that I have in my head that I'm going to get richer and it's not over yet. And so I do think we're at a very interesting point. We've never had an all-time high before halving. I don't think people are realizing that these institutions, first of all, they are not interested in making you rich. Like, it's so funny. Crypto's whole ethos was screw the bankers.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get the power to the people. Now we're cheering on literal BlackRock, which is like the company that is like the most evil corporation in the world.
Yeah.
Because people will complain BlackRock's buying up all the houses and that's why I can't afford real estate. It's like, yeah, they're buying up all your Bitcoin now too. But that's because no one's in it for the tech.
Yeah.
They're in it for the money. Yeah. Like we're all here to make money. No one actually gives a shit about the tech.
Yeah.
This could be anything.
Because nobody even uses the tech.
No, exactly.
It's 13 years into Bitcoin and it's still
people will say, oh, I use
fruition.
the tech. It's like you're using the tech to interact with the tech. Like you're trading on Solana to buy one shitcoin for another. That's not real world use.
Yeah.
My parents aren't aware of Bitcoin still, really, right? Like there hasn't really been that real world adoption where it's like, oh, this is a currency. Yeah, I think the ETF is a step in that direction, But to my point earlier, these institutions are interested in making them money.
Yeah.
So if BlackRock bought all of this Bitcoin from 40 to 50K, let's say, and it does go to 100,
Yeah.
you don't think they're going to sell?
Yeah.
Like those inflows can become outflows. It's not like they own, and people like it's up only forever. We won the game. It's never going down again. I'm like, well, I've heard that before a lot of times, but they can sell. I don't think BlackRock's just going to buy Bitcoin infinitely forever.
Yeah.
They can sell it. All this Bitcoin they've accumulated, which is now in the tens of thousands, billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, they can sell it. And if the stock market is to turn over and maybe they want to liquidate some assets and you've seen a lot of rich people and corporations start, Bezos has sold a ton of Amazon stock. These are things that generally happen around kind of
Jamie
market tops.
Dimon, JP Morgan Chase just sold his first bag, 150 million, which is probably not a lot compared to his entirety, but the first time he's ever taken profits since becoming CEO.
So again, I'm not saying it's over, but I definitely think that I think we're further along in this market cycle than most people want to admit. If you go on the internet, most of my friends and most of the people I interact with online think that the bull run's just getting started. Yeah. And that kind of worries me because I'm like, well, I don't know. The bottom was 15K. Now we're at 70. The high time frame charts are all completely parabolic. Like there's no analysis you can do on the monthly chart. It's eight
just
green candles going straight up.
You look at Nvidia's monthly chart, it looks
insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I do think caution is never a bad thing. I still would like to believe that Bitcoin goes to maybe 100. My prediction for this cycle top is like maybe 100 to 150. I know that's a big range, but that's and if we get to 100, I'm starting to sell.
Yeah.
I don't care if it goes 100%. To 150. If it gets to six-figure Bitcoin,
100K is like my target. Like, insane. Okay, let me get out of any sort of long-term position, and then everything from there is just short-term swing trades.
Yeah. No, and I think there's a lot of euphoria, and maybe this recession that these macro doomers have been warning us about for what seems like forever. I mean, I don't think the economy has fully processed COVID still. The S&P and all these indices that are trading so high are largely in part to a small group of companies that are doing really well.
Top 10.
Yeah, like the economy as a whole in America right now is not reflective of the S&P 500.
Yeah.
The economy in America, like there's unemployment.
So we have Apple, Nvidia with the AI theme, Netflix, which is just a bunch of fucking
Google
people sitting on their couch watching TV.
Yeah, I'm sure Netflix did well during COVID when everyone was stuck at home, and they also made it so you can't share your account anymore. So and they raised their prices. So it's a little bit worrisome. You kind of wonder where like the meat of it is, but I mean, maybe that's what we're due for. Maybe we're due for some sort of kind of crazy large shakeout. But again, it's all how you frame it. Like to me, that sounds like an awesome opportunity. Yeah. Right. You just don't want to be caught holding the bag when the music stops.
Which most people do, that's the tough part about trading is how do you not become that guy?
Yeah. Well, you got to take profits along the way. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, it's because stocks, right? It's money. You know what I mean? Yeah. With crypto, it's almost like going to the casino, like it's poker, like it's chips. It doesn't feel real. It's like, oh, these are chips. It's like funny money. I'm like, none of this stuff is real until you realize it, right? Like you're up $1 million. You're like, I made $1 million. It's like, okay, but are you still holding the coin,
bro? Are
you holding a stable coin?
People are always posting screenshots of their unrealized gains, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not your money.
Yeah. That's the perfect time to take profit, by the way. Any time I've taken a screenshot of a position I'm up on.
That is the cue. Like, okay, shit,
like, maybe I need to close this immediately because I just sent this to my friend or something. It's like, that's time to get out. That almost always works. Yeah. And even if you realize it in crypto, you're still in the ecosystem, right? As you know, not to bring up Anchor. I know it's a soft point for you, but I lost money on like stablecoin stuff as well. And being like, I had cash on FTX and I'm like, I'm safe because I'm in USDT.
Yeah.
Oh, so now
tell me the FTX story.
Yeah, I mean,
what was that experience like?
It was a learning experience for sure. I feel like I should have known better because I'd been around for a long time, and I lost money on Mt. Gox. Yeah. I lost money on Quadriga, so I know these exchanges can go down.
You've been through the ringer already.
It's like trading on an unregulated broker where you're like, hey, why are they giving me so much leverage and they didn't ask for KYC?
Yeah, and then you ask for a payout and then
then they want KYC,
Yeah.
and then they deny you KYC. Like, so I probably should have known better, but I 100% got bought into the Sam Bankman-Fried hype.
The marketing was too good.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone did.
He was on Forbes. He's the richest person under 30. He's doing Super Bowl commercials with Larry David and Tom Brady. They bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat arena. They're sponsoring like an F1 team. I'm just like, too big to fail.
Yeah.
And you look at who the investors were in FTX.
Yeah.
Like, these are some of the biggest venture capital firms in the world. I'm like, well, they must have done
What
it.
annoys me about the whole situation is that people were going after the investors and people who participated in the marketing.
Yeah.
Which is, why is it their fault?
Yeah.
For
you
what
think Tom
Sam
Brady,
Bankman
there's
did.
a check for Tom Brady,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's at the end of the day, I don't believe that Sam started that company to be
defraud
like
people.
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to fuck people over. I think what happened is they went from $0 to $10 billion in an instant, and everything was going up to the point where they didn't have the proper controls in place. Like, when you watch the stuff about the bankruptcy and you read the documents, like, they didn't have HR. They didn't have a board of directors. Like, they would find a wallet with 100 mil on it on some shared drive on the company computer, where it's like, but when you have tens of billions of dollars, like, it's like finding money in your couch cushion.
Yeah.
But when push comes to shove and all of a sudden they needed that liquidity and the market kind of had a crash, and CZ basically said, I don't think you got it. Like, prove it. You got my money? Here, give it to me. I want to take it out. It's no different than during COVID. Like, if you went to the bank and you're like, I want to withdraw 100 grand, they would say no.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the difference is FTX, like, they got
caught with their
hand in
pants down.
the cookie jar. I think they could have filled the hole. It doesn't change the fact that, yes, they stole customer funds to cover trading losses in the hedge fund. That is egregious fraud. But I think they would have filled the hole because the exchange was such a money printer. Like, it's the ultimate business. They had a hedge fund and an exchange. So it's like you're playing poker. You're the casino, you're the dealer, and you're 4 out of the 5 seats at the table. And then you're the one other guy. Like, they know what your cards are. They know what their cards are. Like, they had it all figured out.
They just got greedy.
They got greedy, and I think they were unorganized, and they probably could have done with some maybe more senior people to help them, plan and things like that. I think they got just too big too fast. But yeah, it was a very expensive lesson for me. No different than what we were saying with the realized profits. That's not your money until it's in your bank account. Even then, you're like, do I trust the banks? But I trust the bank more than I trust any of these crypto exchanges.
Yeah.
And this just goes to show it doesn't matter how established they are, who the owners are. It does not matter if it's KYC, all that stuff, until that money is realized. And it's like, hey, I'm paying my rent with this money. I'm paying for my mortgage, my car payment. It's not yours.
Yeah. And you can also get hacked.
Yeah.
Which is just...
Yeah, that's the other thing about crypto. And I'm older, right? Like, I'm like in my 30s. Like, for crypto years, like, we're boomers. Like, we're old. This is a young guy's game. And it almost stresses me out, all of the points of failure that there could be. It's like, hey, the exchange can go down. You could forget your password for your ledger. You could mistype one letter on your wallet. The money, it's not like you can call and be like, hey, I fucked this transaction up. Can
Please
you roll
fix
it back?
Yeah.
Like, it's gone.
No, there is no other system where you can lose everything so quickly.
Oh my God.
Which is super scary because you can build so much wealth within crypto and it can just be gone like that and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So I lost well over 7 figures on FTX. Luckily I'll be getting all of it back, which is awesome. But at November's value, so that money in today's dollars would have been a lot more, but that just shows you how much the market has gone up.
Yeah.
One other thing with crypto, right, is generally these major events that happen, that's what marks the tops and bottoms, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when FTX, 3AC, and Luna went down,
max pain, max fear.
that was the bottom.
Yeah.
That was what made it even more painful. Is I was in cash because I sold near the highs and I was waiting for something big to blow up, and it just happened. The thing that I had all my money on was the thing that blew up. Because I was waiting to buy. I was like, man, if we get below 20K, like, I'm going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and a bunch of Ethereum and whatever else. And it turns out that's where I had most of my money. So that was...
Yeah. I had a similar situation, but I don't get the money back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I had $2 million on UST Anchor Protocol earning 30K a month, which was obviously same thing. Should have known better. Too good to be true. But there is, again, a lot of people with big money all making money on this. And that was also going to be my buy the dip fund.
Yeah.
The 2 mil. So that, okay, once this all fucking comes crashing down, that's going to be my bag to start loading up on a shitload of coins. But I probably wouldn't have been as confident because I thought Bitcoin was coming all the way down to 10K. So I would have been more cautious. But also, losing that money also hurt my confidence as well to then buy anything. It made me lose more trust in crypto, made me just more like, okay, less risk on, not willing to take as much risk because 2 mil, it's
insane.
Big chunk.
Yeah, you live in a place like Bali. That's all the money you need.
Yeah, I was actually gonna build all 3 of these with it as well with some of that money, but now I just sold it all for a profit for these other 2 villas here.
Yeah, no, I was the same way. Like even now, I am not trading with nearly the size that I used to because I don't trust any of these exchanges. So I'll put 100 to 200K on exchange. I'll try and run that up, and then I withdraw. Yeah. Back to that original baseline. I'm putting it in cold storage or I'm cashing out to my bank account. Whereas before I would leave millions on these exchanges and take these crazy huge swings. And it definitely hurt my confidence because I wanted that money to buy the dip. And I'd never lost that much money in one single go, even though it wasn't a trade. I was like, this is...
You literally just try to log in one day and you're like, wait a second, I can't log in.
I just got to Dubai, which is like the most expensive place in the world. And I was there for like 2 weeks with my fiance and like we're with all my crypto buddies. And I'm like one of the, I'm just like, dude, I just lost like, a huge part of my net worth. But I mean, listen, it's a lesson and keep your money safe. Yeah. Because who knows what's going to happen. And COVID was, I think, a wake up call for some people too, with like, seeing that the banks aren't necessarily going to, they don't have to give you your money. Like
a lot of small banks went out of business, but what is it? FDIC only 250K. A lot of people have a lot more fucking money than 250K in a bank.
Yeah. No, if you got a lot of money, you want to be at multiple banks. And I would buy physical gold, have cash. I mean, a ledger, crypto is good for that. Like if you have a ledger, you can kind of travel around with a bunch of money. Yeah. But yeah, I think COVID was a wake-up call for how fragile the system really is when it gets stressed really hard. Like it seems like it works perfectly and everything's fine when things are working. So who knows, man? I'm not saying we're going to see some sort of black swan, but if we get some sort of even like a 10 to 20% correction in stocks,
that's going to be brutal for crypto.
I personally believe, and but we could see Bitcoin back in the 40s and people who, to me and you, that's amazing. I'm like, Bitcoin back at 40 and I think it's going to 100. Hell yeah. The problem is people who bought it 55, 60, 70 back in the 40s is like, I can't go back there. And that's the problem I think a lot of people have is your emotions and your ability to manage them are generally dependent on where and how you're positioned. Yeah. Like if you've gotten to a bunch of altcoins and stuff over the last 2 weeks, every couple percent drop is hurting you right now. Like we're quite a ways off of a lot of we're 15% down from the highs on Bitcoin already. Yeah. So if you bought at 70 and we go back to 40, are you going to hold?
That's going to be a big drop.
Yeah. And it's not even that much more of a drop from here. Maybe it's another 20%, 25%. But if you've been holding from that high, that's when and that's how the bottoms are formed, right? It's those people capitulate.
The fear who's getting stopped out.
So we'll see. I would love the opportunity to buy sub 50K, or Ethereum in like the mid 2000s again. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But I know right now, if you posted online and said Bitcoin's going back to the 40s,
no one's going to want to believe it.
Everyone would flame you, which just makes me even more confident that it is a possibility.
Yeah, 100%. All right, bro. Well, I want to do like a little rapid fire question round, and then I want to ask you one final question. So 15 questions. You ready?
Ready.
Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Ethereum.
Spot or derivatives?
Spot.
Black or white?
Black.
Canada or USA?
USA, which is, I'm sorry guys, but it's just a better country.
He's Canadian, by the way, if you don't know. Morning person or night person?
Night person.
Biden or Trump?
Trump.
Long or short?
Long.
Work or pleasure?
Pleasure. Yeah. But you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. Celebrity crush.
My fiance. No. What's her name? Megan Fox in the original Transformers.
Oof. Classic.
The throwback.
Favorite movie of all time?
Star Wars.
Binance or Bybit?
I'm sponsored by Bybit. Bybit, best exchange in crypto.
Most influential trader or investor to you?
To me, it's got to be Warren Buffett, man. I mean, the guy's the GOAT.
Yeah.
It's got to be Warren Buffett.
Bitcoin goes to 100K or 40K first?
40.
What's more important, trading psychology or trading strategy?
Psychology.
Who wins today's golf game, me or you?
You.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. So one last question. What would be your one piece of advice to someone watching this today that you had to learn the hard way, but if you told them now, that could change their life?
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I know it's corny, but trying to make money quickly oftentimes will make it harder to make money quickly. It's going to take you longer. Trading is so much about being process oriented, and learning the proper habits and skills and things that you're supposed to do, and then repeating them over and over and over again. I think that's why a lot of people who were former athletes, poker players, things like that, where repetition is how you improve at your craft, can do well in trading. It's doing the right things and the same things every time over a huge data set, right? Like the way you know your strategy works is you've seen this pattern 1,000 times, and 75% of the time it does this, so you position yourself accordingly. So trying to build those habits takes time, but don't rush it. I think most people would be better off focusing on the process, moving slowly, as opposed to kind of jumping in with both feet right away, because everyone focuses on the reward with trading. They say, if I buy this here and it goes to here, I make up this much money. No one ever thinks of the downside.
Yep.
Like, what is the risk? I am risk first with my trading. How much am I going to lose if I'm wrong? Because that's just as likely to happen, if not more likely, than me being right. So I try and tell people that. I'm like, realize like this is all a big, giant kind of statistical experiment that you're doing here. And to build the good habits and the processes to get the data to actually go and execute takes a long time. So if you're coming into this thing just hoping that you're going to buy something and make a bunch of money, you're probably gambling. Like if you're taking this as a trader, focus on the process, take your time, and that's going to yield you way better results. Because if you start slow and small and you build up these good habits, when you start getting more money, taking that trade where it used to be a risk of 1,000, it's now a risk of 10,000. It's easier to handle that emotionally. And the psychology of that's easier because it's okay, it's just 1R, it's just 1% of my account or whatever it is. Whereas if you go from just saying, hey, I'm risking $5,000, now I'm risking $50,000 on a trade, mentally $50,000 is a ton of money.
Yeah.
But if you've built in those good habits early on, I think down the line in your trading your career, your ability to scale the size of your account and the size of the trades you're taking and getting richer becomes way easier. So I think, take it slow. It's a skill you're trying to learn, right? Like you want to be a doctor, go to school for 8 years. You want to learn how to play guitar, put in 10,000 hours. This is no different. Otherwise, you're probably just gambling, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot more risks, involved. If you're trying to do this as a professional, treat it like that. Treat it like a business.
Awesome. Cool. Dylan, thanks for having me on.
Man. Yeah.
Great value. Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See y'all later.